So I want you to think about the screen you are looking at right now, like literally right now. The smartphone in your hand, or maybe the monitor on your desk, or even that tablet you were just scrolling on.
Right, it's always something.
Yeah, exactly. And the blue light, the relentless glare, it's not just making your eyes feel a little, heavy or tired at the end of the day.
No, it's much more structural than that.
Right. Because according to the physiological data we are looking at today, the constant, intense demand of processing all that artificial light is, well, on a cellular level, essentially rusting your eyes.
I mean, it is a really visceral word, right? Rusting. But from a purely biological standpoint, it is a remarkably accurate way to describe what is actually happening to the tissue in there.
Wow. Well, welcome to today's deep dive. I have a massive stack of sources spread out in front of me today. We are talking clinical nutrition papers, optometry journals, some notes on market trends, and even longevity research.
It's a really comprehensive pile of data.
It is. And the mission of our deep dive today is to synthesize all of this, to understand a massive fundamental shift happening right now in the wellness world.
A very necessary shift, I would add.
Yeah, because for generations, the way we handled our eyes was completely reactive. You just took your vision for granted. You waited until the world got a little blurry. You went to a doctor to get a stronger prescription, and then boom, you went right back to staring at a screen.
Exactly. But the literature is pointing toward a total paradigm shift now. We're moving from reactive eye care to proactive daily vision nutrition.
Which is huge.
It is. The underlying assumption we are really trying to dismantle here is the idea that vision degradation is just this inevitable tax you pay for getting older.
Right, like it's just a given.
Yeah, people assume the eye is like a static glass camera lens that just naturally gets scratched over time. But the reality is that your eyes are incredibly dynamic, living organs.
Okay, let's unpack this, because getting past that whole glass lens myth is really the foundation of everything in these papers.
It really is. I mean, think about your heart muscle or your brain. You wouldn't expect your heart to beat 100,000 times a day without a continuous, rich supply of oxygen and specialized nutrients, would you?
No, of course not. You'd assume it needs fuel.
Right. Well, the eye is no different. The retina contains some of the most metabolically active tissue in the entire human body.
Wait, really? The most active?
Up there with the brain and heart, yeah. Your eyes are constantly making microadjustments, processing photons, and sending massive amounts of data to your brain every single second. That takes an astonishing amount of biological fuel.
So let's talk about the specific threat to that tissue then. This whole idea of the eyes rusting because of our daily routines. I am looking at statistics here showing many adults are spending 8 to 12 hours a day locked onto screens.
And that usually doesn't even count winding down with a movie at night.
Exactly. I mean, I know looking at an Excel spreadsheet isn't the exact same as staring directly into the sun, but what is the invisible toll taking place behind the scenes here?
So the scientific mechanism we really need to drill down into is called oxidative stress.
Oxidative stress.
Okay, throughout your day, your eyes are bombarded by environmental stressors. Sunlight, indoor pollutants, and particularly the high-energy light from expensive screen use.
And all of that light is just pounding the retina.
Right. These stressors penetrate the eye and interact with those highly active cells we just talked about, generating what we call free radicals.
Okay, so I see the term free radicals on almost every page of these nutrition journals, but it usually just gets thrown around as a buzzword. What are they actually doing to the eye?
Let's break down the mechanics. A free radical is essentially an unstable, damaged molecule. It is missing a critical electron.
Okay, so it's broken.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And because it is unstable, it is desperate to find a replacement. So it aggressively steals an electron from the nearest healthy molecule it can find.
Oh, wow. So it's basically looting the healthy cells.
Yeah, in the context of your vision, it is literally stealing from the healthy, functioning cells of your eye tissue.
So if we imagine our eyes as a high-performance engine running like 14 hours a day, these free radicals are basically the microscopic friction and heat that are slowly, relentlessly wearing down the engine components.
That is exactly the right way to visualize it. When a free radical steals an electron, it damages that cell.
Yeah.
And worse, the cell it just stole from now becomes unstable itself, creating a chain reaction.
Oh, man. So just cascades.
Yeah, that cascading damage is oxidative stress.
Mhm.
Over time, that cumulative friction degrades the macula, the lens, and the overall functionality of the eye.
I want to push back on this a little bit, though. I mean, human beings evolved hunting and gathering on the savannah, right? We spent hundreds of thousands of years living under the glaring, unshielded sun, dealing with dust and wind and all sorts of environmental
Sure,
stressors.
absolutely.
So our bodies have to be designed to handle some natural wear and tear. Why is sitting in a climate-controlled office looking at a laptop suddenly this biological crisis requiring an entirely new wellness philosophy?
Well, this raises an important question, and it goes right to the heart of evolutionary biology. You're absolutely right that the human body has internal defense systems designed to manage oxidative stress.
Right, we aren't completely defenseless.
No, we aren't. But what the research highlights is a profound evolutionary mismatch. It is really an issue of volume and scale.
Meaning we are just pushing the system past its natural limits.
Precisely. Evolution prepared us to handle the changing natural light of the sun, focusing on objects at varying distances, with periods of complete darkness at night to recover.
Right, because the sun goes down.
Exactly. It did not prepare our biology for the relentless, unnatural demand of staring at a fixed glowing rectangle 2 feet from our face for 12 hours a day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The sheer volume of free radicals generated by modern digital behavior completely outpaces what our natural internal defenses can neutralize.
So we are essentially losing the battle of scale. Which brings us to the counteroffensive, I guess. Looking through these sources, if free radicals are the friction destroying the engine, the clear solution presented here is antioxidants.
Yes, antioxidants are the defense mechanism. To go back to the cellular level for a second, an antioxidant is a molecule that is capable of donating an electron to a free radical without becoming unstable itself.
Oh, so it's like a buffer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It essentially hands over the missing piece, neutralizes the threat, and stops that destructive chain reaction in its tracks.
Now, the literature groups a very specific set of foundational vitamins together for this purpose, but I don't want to just read down a table of contents like a textbook here.
Right. Let's look at how they actually function.
Yeah, we have vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin A, and zinc. How are these actually working together to protect the eye?
It is fascinating when you look at where they operate within the biology of the eye. They aren't just doing the same job. They have very specific jurisdictions. Let's take vitamin C and vitamin E. Vitamin C is water-soluble, meaning it operates primarily in the aqueous, fluid-filled environments of the eye, hunting down free radicals there.
Got it. And vitamin E?
Vitamin E, on the other hand, is fat-soluble, so it embeds itself in the lipid membranes, the outer walls of your cells.
Oh, I see. So if we think about the cellular environment as a territory, vitamin C is basically the Navy patrolling the water, and vitamin E is the Army deployed to protect the landmass.
That is a brilliant analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are providing two completely different zones of coverage. They're a combined defense force.
That makes it so much easier to picture. And then you add vitamin A to the mix, right?
Right. And vitamin A isn't just fighting off damage. It is literally the raw material your eyes use to convert light into electrical signals. Plus, it is fundamental for maintaining the clear surface of the cornea.
Okay, so Navy, Army, and raw materials. And where does zinc fit into this whole military operation?
Zinc is the logistics commander. It is an essential trace mineral that plays a massive role in transporting vitamin A from your liver up to your retina so it can be used to produce those protective visual pigments.
So without zinc, the supplies never reach the front lines.
Exactly. The supplies are just sitting there, and your vision suffers, especially in low-light conditions.
Okay, that makes total sense. But here's where it gets really interesting in these sources.
Oh, the botanical stuff?
Yeah. When these clinical papers discuss the future of vision formulas, they aren't just talking about those classic vitamins. There is a massive section here dedicated to the inclusion of mushrooms and specific botanical plant extracts.
It is a huge area of emerging research.
I have to be honest, though, when I first saw mushrooms for eye health, it sounded like a trendy wellness gimmick, like something you'd buy at an overpriced smoothie bar.
It does sound like a leap at first glance. I totally get that. But from a functional biochemistry standpoint, researchers are incredibly excited about this. Traditional plants and specific adaptogenic mushrooms contain dense concentrations of bioactive compounds called phytochemicals and polyphenols.
Okay, I see those terms in the papers, but how do they actually operate differently than your standard vitamin C? I mean, why do we need them if we already have the Navy and the Army?
Well, this is where the science gets really elegant.
Yeah.
We just established that standard vitamins act as direct scavengers, right?
Right.
One molecule of vitamin C neutralizes one free radical. It's a one-to-one fight. Polyphenols, however, act more like biological signaling molecules. They don't just directly fight the free radicals.
Wait, what do they do then?
They trigger the cell's own internal alarm systems.
Wait, let me make sure I'm grasping this.
Yeah.
They are turning on the body's own machinery.
Exactly. When you consume these specific plant extracts, they mildly stress the cell in a healthy way, which activates certain pathways, specifically one called the NRF2 pathway.
NR2, okay.
Yeah, and this acts like a master switch that tells your body, hey, we are under attack, ramp up production of our own endogenous antioxidants.
Endogenous meaning ones we make ourselves.
Exactly, like glutathione, which is the most powerful antioxidant your body makes.
Oh, wow. So if the vitamins are the soldiers on the ground, the polyphenols from these mushrooms and plants are like the training instructors. They are teaching your own body how to manufacture its own internal defense systems to fight at a much larger scale.
That's spot on. You are attacking oxidative stress from multiple angles. You are supplying direct scavengers, and you are upgrading the body's natural capacity to defend itself.
That's a powerful combination.
It really is. When you combine the foundational vitamins with these complex botanical compounds, you create a nutritional profile that is exponentially more robust than just taking, a generic multivitamin.
That reframes the entire concept for me. But this brings up a deeply practical question for you, the listener.
Okay, let's hear it.
If we know exactly what our eyes crave, vitamins A, C, E, zinc, and these sophisticated plant polyphenols, why are experts and researchers shifting their focus so heavily toward daily supplementation? Why not just publish a grocery list and tell people to eat more spinach, carrots, and mushrooms?
Well, because the clinical community is finally acknowledging the reality of modern human behavior. In one of the optometry journals in your stack, a specialist uses a really powerful analogy regarding this. They compare maintaining optimal eye wellness to brushing your teeth.
Oh, the dental analogy. Yeah, let's explore that.
You don't just go to the dentist once a year, have them scrape the plaque off, and then never brush your teeth at home, right?
Obviously not. That would be terrible.
Right. And you certainly don't just brush your teeth perfectly on a Sunday and expect it to protect you all week. Dental health requires a daily, non-negotiable habit.
And we just don't do that with our eyes.
Exactly. For decades, we haven't treated our eyes that way at all. But the cellular tissue of your eye requires that exact same daily consistent maintenance.
And that is the reality for you, the listener. Eating perfectly balanced, locally sourced, antioxidant-rich, multicolored meals every single day is the absolute ideal. But let's be honest about the world we live in.
It's just not realistic for most people.
No. You are working 10-hour days, you are managing a household, you are commuting. Grabbing whatever food is fastest is often the only option. The modern diet has massive nutritional gaps.
And those gaps are exactly where the oxidative stress gains a foothold. Even if you try your hardest, securing that highly specific, consistent daily supply of the exact nutrients your macula and retina need is incredibly difficult to do purely through diet.
So looking through these market analysis papers, there's a specific formulation that keeps popping up as a prime case study of this new philosophy. It's called Visium Plus.
Yes, I've seen that cited frequently.
Yeah, it seems to be used as an aggregate example of this exact trend. What is the architecture behind a product like that?
Well, Visium Plus is frequently highlighted in these discussions because it perfectly embodies this new preventive mindset we were talking about. Instead of relying on just a single magic ingredient, it takes the structural approach we just outlined.
Bringing all the pieces together.
Exactly. It combines the water-soluble vitamins, the fat-soluble vitamins, the trace minerals like zinc, alongside those complex mushroom and plant polyphenols, all into a single protocol.
So it is essentially removing the friction. Instead of trying to mathematically calculate if you ate enough specific botanicals and vitamins today, it just provides a daily baseline.
Precisely. Its clinical appeal is the convenience of filling those dietary gaps. It provides that consistent daily baseline of nutritional armor that the hyperactive tissues of the eyes require to survive the digital age.
But and I see you checking your notes because we absolutely have to mention this. There is a massive, crucial caveat repeated across all these medical sources.
Yes, and we really cannot overstate this. Every single specialist in these texts firmly emphasizes that supplements are a tool, not a free pass.
They aren't a magic cure-all.
No, not at all. A formulation like Visium Plus is never a replacement for a foundational healthy diet, and it absolutely does not replace your routine professional eye exams.
Right. You can't just put premium racing oil in the engine, take a supplement, and then drive the car straight into a brick wall by staring at a blazing monitor in a pitch-black room for 14 hours.
Exactly. That's a recipe for disaster.
Nutritional armor only works if you stop actively lambing the territory. Which leads us to the physical habits. Beyond the chemistry, what is the holistic strategy here?
The mechanical habits are just as vital as the nutritional ones. And the first one that experts universally recommend is specifically designed to combat the exact physical tension caused by screens.
The 20-20-20 rule, I love this one because it is free, it is actionable, and you can start doing it the second this deep dive ends.
It's so simple, but so effective.
For every 20 minutes you spend staring at a screen, you need to look at an object at least 20 feet away for 20 seconds. I always assumed this was just to, give your brain a break, but the biology here is actually fascinating.
It is purely mechanical. Inside your eye, there is a tiny ring of muscle called the ciliary muscle. When you focus on a screen close to your face, that muscle contracts and locks into a state of continuous tension to hold the lens in the right shape.
So staring at a laptop is essentially the biological equivalent of doing a bicep curl with a heavy dumbbell and just holding it there for 3 hours straight without putting it down.
That is a perfect way to describe it. No muscle is designed to be locked in tension for that long.
It would be agonizing.
Right. So by looking at an object 20 feet away, you are physically forcing the ciliary muscle to release and relax. Those 20 seconds allow the muscle fibers to reset, drastically reducing the physical fatigue that causes tension headaches at the end of the workday.
Incredible. So what else is in the holistic protocol? The sources list hydration next. And again, I used to think drink water was just generic wellness advice. But the impact of dehydration on the eye is incredibly specific.
It's all about the tear film. Your eye is covered by a complex, multi-layered tear film that protects the cornea. When you stare at screens, studies show your blink rate drops by up to 60%. You simply stop blinking.
Because we are so hyper-focused on the content.
Right. We just stare. So the tears evaporate faster. Now, if you were also systemically dehydrated from drinking too much coffee and not enough water, your body can't produce enough new tears.
And what happens to the tears that are left?
The tears you do have left become highly concentrated and salty, a condition called high tear osmolarity.
Wow. So because you lack water, your tears literally become too salty, and that salt physically inflames and burns the surface of the eye?
Yes.
That explains that gritty, burning sensation at 4 in the afternoon.
Exactly. Hydration keeps the tear film balanced. Next on the protocol is UV protection. Quality sunglasses. We talked about screen time, but the ultraviolet radiation from the sun is still a massive source of oxidative stress.
That makes sense. Blocking the sun's UV rays with sunglasses is a simple way to reduce the overall burden of free radicals, freeing up your body's antioxidants to fight the damage caused by the screens.
Yeah, it's about reducing the total incoming fire.
Right. And finally, prioritizing sleep.
Sleep is not just rest. It is an active phase of cellular sanitation. The retina, because it burns so much energy during the day, produces a massive amount of metabolic waste.
It's like a factory that generates a lot of exhaust.
Exactly. During deep sleep, the body's clearing systems activate to sweep all that cellular garbage out of the eye.
So if you are chronically shortchanging your sleep, logging, say, 5 hours a night, the sanitation crew never finishes the job.
They get pulled off the shift early.
Wow. You are waking up, opening your eyes, and demanding they perform while they are still sitting in yesterday's metabolic waste.
Which just accelerates the wear and tear we have been discussing this entire time.
So synthesizing this complete protocol, we have the mechanical relief of the 20-20-20 rule. We have deep cellular hydration to protect the tear film, UV protection to reduce total stress, deep sleep for metabolic clearing, and consistent daily multi-layered nutritional support with the vitamins and polyphenols found in modern formulations like Visium Plus.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what the culmination of all this research represents is a fundamental evolution in how we view ourselves.
So?
We are no longer treating our eyes like tires on a car, where we just ignore them until they go bald and then try to patch them. We are realizing they are more like a delicate ecosystem or a garden.
Right, you have to tend to it every single day. For you listening, this is really about taking a hard look at the reality of the modern era. You are busy, you are driven, you are going to be interacting with screens for work, for connection, for entertainment.
That is not going to change anytime soon.
No, it's not. But the challenge here is to stop treating your eyes as invincible mechanical hardware. They are living, breathing, incredibly vulnerable tissue that demands daily feeding, daily physical relief, and daily armor.
It is simply about equipping your biology with the specific tools it needs to survive the incredibly unnatural environment we have built for ourselves.
And it leaves you with a truly fascinating, almost science fiction thought to ponder. We just broke down the staggering amount of oxidative stress caused by flat screens today. But look at where technology is heading.
Oh, it's accelerating.
We are moving rapidly toward augmented reality, spatial computing, and virtual reality headsets, where the screens are literally inches from our corneas, encompassing our entire field of vision.
That's a whole new level of exposure.
It really is. If human technology continues to evolve at this breakneck pace, totally outstripping the speed of our biological evolution, we'll specialize. Daily digital defense nutrition eventually become as universally standardized and non-negotiable as adding fluoride to our drinking water or iodine to our salt. It is something to deeply consider the next time you sit down, boot up your computer, and look into the light.